the 10th race, the finale, the big one. Back at Oswego, we are crowning a champion tonight. Hello, race fans. Welcome back to BRP TV and welcome back to the Southern Tier Elite Series. This is race 10, the Great Lakes 75 from the virtual Oswego Speedway in Oswego, New York. And you are here live with us as we come into the final race of the program. I'm Joe Donahue, as always, aside my companion, my partner in crime, my co-commentator, my main man up north, Jonathan Howe, and we are here to bring you the final night of action for this 2025-26 Southern Tier Elite Series season, and tonight we crown the Cacti Cup champion. Jonathan, we come into this race with pretty much everything set in stone for who the champion is, but if you look a little bit further back in the order, we've got some competition going on within the top 10 in points coming in.
Yeah, there's going to be some great battles throughout the top 10 in points tonight, Joe. I mean, yeah, Cole Henchel's got to pretty much have the worst night of his possible iHeartRacing career tonight to throw away this championship. But, I mean, Cody Higbee has the slimmest of margins on Gary Edwards, who's kind of been bleeding points over the last couple of weeks. We'll see if Gary can maybe rebound and get back up one more step on the podium. A little further back in the top 10, I like this battle shaping up around the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th spot. You got 8th through 11th separated by just 5 points. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And now those 5 points could literally just come from heat points tonight. Maybe that's the difference. We'll see a little later on in the night, Joe. But lots to watch. Lots of drivers who have something to race for, even if the championship is a little bit more out of reach than we probably want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a bit more to race for than just the title tonight for a lot of drivers, and there's also a lot going on behind 10th place in the championship. We've had some drivers who kind of stuck it out with the series and some drivers who have been in and out throughout time. So there are drivers more down in like 15th, 16th that are looking to move up as well. And on top of that, just as the last race of the season, who wouldn't want to win the last race, Jonathan? Who wouldn't want to take that last crown and go all into the off-season, or for us, into the actual racing season with a little bit of momentum on their back?
Yeah, of course, right? Everybody wants to have a trophy to their name, have a season that they can remember something positively from, and there's no better feeling than walking away a champion.
Absolutely.
And walking away a race winner.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'd want to do that for sure. So we are coming into tonight. We've got 20 drivers making the call for the show this evening. Cole Henschel in the number 4 car scored. You'll see here on your screen. He's coming in as the championship leader, like you saw on the board, and he's pretty much got not much to do with it. 17th place or better would guarantee him the title, even if Cody Higbee wins. We'll have to see what comes there. But before we get to the end of that 75-lap feature, we're going to have heat races to start things off and set the grids. If we had more than 24 drivers, we would be in a consolation. So we'll do the 2 heat races. We'll have a 5-minute warm-up for the drivers to get ready, and then 75 laps around Oswego Speedway. Jonathan, this racetrack usually doesn't have dirt on it, so this is a special treat for everybody. But for these drivers, with this racetrack being so important to them these days, this is like the cultural... hold on, I need to think of the word. The cultural epicenter of modified racing.
There you go.
There you go, yeah. 25-cent word. So surely, like on top of everything we've already said, this is a racetrack you want to win at as well.
Yeah, I really like that we ended up picking this one as the finale spot for this particular series. I mean, it holds so much weight being, you know, the final the final event of Dirt Week, right? Super Dirt Week. All roads lead to Super Dirt Week. And I just think that the thing about Oswego in this game is that it's still just as much a challenge, even with the different surface. I mean, I haven't spent a ton of time, obviously, on the PC side of things, but it's definitely always struck me as the track that maybe is a bit more challenging than you'd think.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. The racetrack is not it's not symmetrical. So this is definitely going to be a track that takes a little bit more finesse to it to really get the grips on. Some of these drivers have even driven on this racetrack in real life, so that obviously would also help them. As we come into qualifying now, It is time for 2 laps in 2 minutes for each driver to put up the best lap time they can and see where they set themselves for the start of the first part of the program tonight, which is the heat races. Matthew Schultz on track won a few weeks ago. Jonathan looking okay to start things off with his 24 car. We'll see what time he puts up.
Yeah, looking solid right now. I haven't seen the car really get too out of shape. Maybe we would like to see a little less rotation through the center, but it looked pretty speedy. Cole Henschel coming into the night, your points champion, and most likely to the top of the board. And Cody Higbee right there with him, though. Not bad, not far off for Higbee. There goes Brewer jumping into the top 3 in fastest times.
Mike Brewer back with us tonight after a few weeks off. You see Jake Henry in the 171 car here on your screen. They comes into the corner, goes to the high side, and then will diamond off of turn number 2. Gary Edwards III jumps to the top of the leaderboard now with an 18.124. Gets about a 10th over Cole Henschel. Isaac Salas, one of the best qualifiers we've got on the grid, will be 3rd for the moment. Jake Henry passed the stripe for a 2nd time, and his time, unfortunately, is actually the slowest, as we see Dylan Smith make a couple positions up. And last driver across the line, none other than the BRP TV co-owner, Matt DeRitter. Yeah,
Matt having a good qualifying effort here, looking to have a good one. Needs to try to find a little more pace out of this thing. Kind of surprising top few drivers. Gary Edwards, not a surprise. Kenny Coe jumps up there. And then, well, I just kind of feel like Cole Henschel in the catbird seat. Big surprise. I thought that time that Cody Higbee posted up was going to hang on a little bit better, but he fell down that starting order. So we'll get to the heats here, Joe. And I don't know, if you're Cody Higbee, if you're one of these guys that's towards the back half of the field, this is where you probably want to try to make up as many points as you can and start up towards the front.
Yeah, you're going to want to get closer to the front, get those bonus points, and then put yourself in a better position to go through the 75-lap feature. Although 75 laps is plenty of time to get moved up from the rear if you need to. But hopefully you don't want to do that. You want to start up front early. We're going to have 2 heat races tonight, 10 drivers apiece for 8 laps around the racetrack. Gary Edwards III, your fast qualifier, will start from the pole for the first of the 2 heat races this evening. Cole Henschel to his outside, championship leader coming in, pretty much champion. We'll see how that goes. Mike Brewer back with us after a few weeks off, and car number 39 will roll from 3rd place on the grid. The J7 of Brendan Finley will go from the outside of that row in 4th place. Moving back to 5th place on the starting grid, you've got Cody Higbee. He's running the old red and white throwback car tonight. He is in a must-win situation to try to get this championship in his hands. Dylan Smith in the 15S to his outside. Starting in row number 4 on the inside, you've got the Van Sickle Electric-sponsored number 80 car, Dominic Roselli. To his outside car, number 55, Richard Ritchie. And then the final row on the grid sees the number 1 car on the inside, Anthony Vitale, back with us after a few weeks off as well. And then the last driver to line up, car number 28, the Scotty's Fashions machine, is Jeff Sharp. So those are your 10. They will come around the corner and wait for the green flag to be waved to them, as they are actually, we're a little bit ahead here as the pace truck is going to pull off. The pace truck pulls off on the inside of turn 3. So Gary Edwards III gets a long waiting period to build the anticipation for us, get these drivers through turns 3 and 4, and then set them loose, Jonathan. We have 10 drivers ready to go, and I'm going to have to try it a little bit harder, so I'm going to hand it to you to build the anticipation for the green flag.
I just think that this is going to be one great battle between 2 of our maybe best drivers all season long, right off the hop. Gary Edwards out of the gate with the lead. He'll get to the inside through corner number 1, and there goes Brewer trying to get by on the inside as well. See if he can make the move on Henschel. This track just looks so fast with these particular camera angles. It's great to see. And Henschel starting to kind of drop back a little bit as he is under pressure and under fire here as they try to keep working around this, like you say, asymmetrical, I guess is the way to say it, for a racetrack here in Western New York.
And they come back onto the front stretch again, 2 laps into this one. Gary Edwards III with a commanding lead off the start. I felt like that start was a little bit of a jump there for Edwards. Not that he jumped it, but just I anticipated a little bit more of a waiting period before we actually went racing. But he leads over Mike Brewer, who got a nice start. Cole Henschel to the inside of Cody Higbee. these two drivers going for the championship right now. Higbee really needs to get in front of Henschel and then Brewer as well to try to get some bonus points in his favor. Right now, the both of them would score one single point in here, which would give them an equilibrium going into the feature, which means 17th place for Cole Henschel. Not going to do a ton to help Higbee, but you try to get those points anywhere you can. Meanwhile, up front, still no trouble for Gary Edwards as the Interstate Batteries number 21 car leads us past halfway.
I just like how rough this place is, Joe. I mean, you can really see the cars bouncing down on the inside of the corners. It's really a track that's going to make these guys have to hang on for every moment, every battle, every position, every line that they run. You cannot just kind of ease and float in. You are going to bounce your car around. Even on the straightaways, it can get really rough around here, and that's, of course, what happens when you're putting down dirt on top of a paved oval.
Yeah, this is a bumpy, interesting surface that these guys are going to have to work with here. We're coming to a lap and a half for Gary Edwards, and this is not even the hard part of the night. You wait till we get into that 70 laps in area of the feature. The white flag's going to come out, one to go, presented by Precision Engine Service for Gary Edwards over Mike Brewer as they come through 1 and 2 again, Jonathan.
Yeah, one more trip around here, and it does look like Higbee ended up getting by Cole Henschel, so he'll pick up to the 3rd spot there, but Henschel still is going to grab some bonus points for his efforts. Gary Edwards takes the checkered flag ahead of Brewer, Higbee, and Henschel. Finley gets by D. Rose late as well. Shout out to Henley.
Good stuff there to the end of that race there especially for Finley. And it's not going to do much for Cody Higbee, but a commanding lead for Gary Edwards in that one. Maybe it'll bring that momentum forward into the feature, and he can try to get himself a couple extra spots up in the standings as well, as Gary Edwards III has had a fantastic year with some lows, but has had some strong points as well. We jump into the second heat race of the evening, and we start on the front row. To the inside, Kenny Coe, driver of the number 22 car. To his outside, Isaac Salas. Isaac Salas had a fantastic run of momentum going through the middle parts of this season. Got himself 4 wins. Last one was at Eldora. Could maybe see if he could go 5 for 10 on the season tonight. Van Sickle Electric number 7 of Anthony Roselli will go from the inside of row number 2, and to his outside, driving car number 60. You got Hunter Lapp going to 5th place on the grid. He's actually got the number 4 scheme on the side, Superior Remodeling for Anthony Perego. We'll go inside of the number 24 car, Matthew Schultz, going from 6th. Starting 7th on the grid, you've got the number 14 of Austin Smith, and to the outside of him, driving for Murder Graphics and the Inkvine Company, originally out of New Jersey, this is Matt DeRitter. Go back to the final row on the grid. You've got car number 883 of Bud Molyneux, and then car number 171 of Jake Henry. And that is the grid for the final heat race of 2025-26 season, Jonathan. Oh, and look, Kenny Coe's got a nice little something special on the sides of this car for Oswego.
Yeah, I like that. Very much a sweet little ride there, and another great effort. I mean, it's so cool to see what some of the talented people making these schemes can come up with. Obviously, shout out our boy Matt DeRitter. He's worked hard on more than a few schemes that you probably see out there and have seen around the iRacing world. But I think, I don't know what to make of this season for Isaac Salas, right? With the amount of races he's won, it's kind of almost frustrating for him to be 50 points out coming into tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. He didn't have the consistency really the whole way through the season. This green flag comes out to keep himself really in a good hunt. Cole Henschel we had that streak where Cole Henschel could not finish outside the podium. That really was what did Cole Henschel into the championship this season. They come around to finish the first lap. You also got some special paint on the side for Anthony Roselli. Nice little new car to run here at Oswego. And behind him, a little bit of a battle between Hunter Lapp, Anthony Perego, and Matthew Schultz. It's Perego for the moment, holding out on those 3.
Yeah, good battle here. As Schultz gets a little bit, maybe too close to that inside wall there, almost bites it. Maybe bites it a little bit more than he intended, as it looks like DeRitter's going to get by, and now Molyneux trying to make the pass as well towards the back half of the field. Up at the front, though, it's all Kenny Coe still leading ahead of Isaac Salas. Anthony Roselli, we saw him return to the podium last week. We'll see if Anthony's got one more podium in his repertoire tonight and see if he can move up. He's chasing Anthony Perego in points. Not doable. I mean, he's 14 points back of that 5th place position. And if he can finish up towards the sharp end of this heat, he can pick up a couple extra bonus points and maybe make his journey towards the top 5 in the championship in the league that he has kind of founded a little bit easier.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job of holding on to Kenny Coe and Isaac Salas right now as he come back into turn number 3. We're halfway through this heat race, and he dives in deep. He's still making time around the inside of the racetrack. And, yeah, obviously Anthony Roselli would be mighty happy to get himself a couple spots up and maybe get one spot closer to the top in the championship hunt. Anthony Roselli, honestly, I came into the season expecting to see him at the top of the board at the end of a race, maybe once or twice. But what a stout field around him. So I can't say, I'm surprised when you look at guys like Kenny Coe and Isaac Salas. You look at Cole Henschel coming in strong. So, I was wondering if we were going to see Roselli get a win this season, but it's just been a little bit too tough for him, I guess.
Well, he's got one race to prove us wrong, and so far doing a good job from 3rd place here. Looks like he might be faster. Kind of think that Isaac Salas is faster than Kenny Coe, but Coe is just doing such a good job of holding the bottom, not giving up any room to the inside. It's enough that Salas can poke his nose, but as they head into the final corner here, I don't think he's got enough to make the challenge for the top spot, and I don't think he'll be able to do it, no. Kenny Coe has got it.
Kenny Coe is going to be your Pig Fab Chassis Heat Race number 2 winner, as you see them getting into a little bit extra altercations after the checkered flag is out. Isaac Salas, Anthony Roselli, Anthony Perego, and Hunter Lapp all going to roll bonus points out of the final heat race of the season. And you'll see the screen move over, and you'll see everything change a little bit as the session moves forward into a 5-minute warm-up period for all of the drivers to hit the track together and get the grips on what the track's going to feel like during the feature. But also, Jonathan, give them a little bit of time in between the heat races to reset, redial themselves in. So how do you do that? What do you do, Jonathan, with these 5 minutes to get yourself ready for the 75-lap feature?
I think I've always wanted to be the one that's using practice to practice making passes. I like having warm-up sessions and taking some time to really think about where I can make a move on a guy, see where I can open him up, where can I capitalize, what are some mistakes that I can watch for. If somebody's going to miss their line going into the corner, what does that look like? See if you can kind of maybe take some mental notes about how and where to make passes and what to look for when the opportunity comes to jump on and try and get around somebody. I got to say, Joe, the weather here for the virtual world, got to say, a lot better than what the Super Dirt Week weather's been the last couple of years.
Oh, that is absolutely true. We are fortunately in session. Check it out. We are rocking. Oh, it's even putting it in degrees Celsius for me here, Jonathan. This is up in your neck of the woods of 22 degrees Celsius is what we're rocking. Track temp 49 degrees Celsius. It is 0% precipitation. It is 2 kilometers per hour of wind, no fog, 75% humid. Yeah, it's a bit nicer in this session than they're used to running at Oswego, because I know, last year it was just ridiculously cold, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like last year was very cold, cloudy, no sun at all, but at least dry, if I remember correctly. And then the year before, it just rained and rained and rained to the point where I think most of the action got pushed to the Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to remember back in time, but
was that 2 years ago or was that last?
Was that last? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember which one. I'm thrown off because my wedding happened on one of the Super Dirt Weeks in the last couple of years. So I'm trying to remember which one we were not paying any attention to, which would have been 2024. So maybe 2024 was nice, but I could have sworn that 23 and or 24 was really, really bad rain-wise, and then, last year just bitter cold.
I feel like I remember last year, because I have a friend, my friend Matt Skipper works for World Racing Group, and he was up there for Super Dirt Week, but I thought it was last, I don't know. Anyway, so, yes, the point of the story is that the weather is a lot nicer for these drivers in sim than it is in real life. but that's okay. That'll make the racing a little bit better as we get into the feature race, which is about a minute and a half, 2 minutes away. Before we get into that, we want to take a second to, for the final time of the season, go through the list and thank all of the partners and sponsors of the Southern Tier Elite Series and BRP TV for putting together the show tonight. Cacti Fabrication, they will be presenting the Cacti Cup to either Cole Henschel or Cody Higbee, depending how the feature goes. And they've been a partner through the thick of the beginning of the Southern Tier Elite Series. BRP TV, that's us, the go-to for all the live coverage of Southern Tier's season. All of the races are on back in the BRP TV YouTube channel, and we appreciate everybody who's been tuning in with us, going live week after week for the 10 races this season. Pig Fab Chassis out of New York, been the presenting sponsor of the heat race winners this season. Precision Engine Service, the one-to-go white flag sponsor. Savage House Performance and Savage House Racing, the iRacing team, has been supporting this series. Vertex Graphics, you'll see Vertex Graphics on the side of multiple cars here in this series, doing the graphics for them. Murder Graphics, the custom graphics that you'll see on some of the other cars out here, as well as Mr. Matt DeRitter driving the 03 car himself. MDR Designs, with all of the branding information, branding needs that you could possibly want. MDR Designs is part of the graphics situation that we have on BRP TV, like the tickers you see on the screen. The Inkfine Company, new company coming out from Matt that he's been working on. We were just talking beforehand, but thanks to the Inkfine Company for coming on board this season. Creative Turnings, longtime partner with BRP TV up in Connecticut with wood and acrylic style household items made by hand. 47 Technology, the home-developed 3D printed ornaments, trophies, dioramas, and more. That Etsy shop's been a long-time partner of BRP TV as well. And the Southern Ontario Dirt Show. Mr. Jonathan Howe has the ins to keep you up to date on the Southern Ontario dirt racing scene, and there's more to come from that in the future as they look to bring it back in a new light this coming year. Well, Jonathan, the sun is setting in the video game. It's beautiful. I wish the sun looked like that when it was setting these days. I wish it was as warm these days as it is in this game now. But nonetheless, we've got them lined up. They are inverted, and we are ready to bring the starting grid. Why don't you take us from the top, Jonathan?
Yeah, I can't wait to get this one going. Hunter Lapp going to lead us to green alongside Brendan Finley. A couple of guys that have shown speed in the past but have not been able to be towards the front half of the field. Today, they'll get their opportunity up on the front row. Anthony Perego lines up third. Meanwhile, Cole Henschel, your presumptive champion, will start fourth in this one, looking to just get through things cleanly. Anthony Roselli will start top 5 in fifth. Cody Higbee on the outside of row number 3 will start sixth. Starting seventh, it's Isaac Salas. We've seen him in victory lane the most this year at the top, on the top step. We'll see if he can maybe score one more win here tonight. Mike Brewer will start 8th. Kenny Coe lines up in 9th, and Gary Edwards 10th.
You roll back to 11th on the grid. You've got Dominic Roselli on the inside. Matt DeRitter, the 03 car, starting 12th. 13th for Dylan Smith, and Matthew Schultz will start 14th in the 24 car. Anthony Vitale in car number 1 will go from 15th. 16th on the grid, number 14, Dylan's brother, Austin. Then you've got Jeff Sharp in car 28. He's been here every race this season. Bud Molyneux to his outside in car 883. 19th on the grid is Richard Ritchie in car number 55. And rounding out the tail of the final grid of the season, Jake Henry, car number 171. Jonathan, that invert put Hunter Lapp in pole position. The last time that happened, he had a darn tootin' good chance at winning the feature race he was in. Cole Henschel to his outside. Anthony Perego right behind him with Cody Higbee, Anthony Roselli, Mike Brewer. He's got a lot of heavy drivers behind him, but he seems to be the type of guy who likes an opportunity to capitalize like this.
It feels like it sets up pretty well for him. I'm really wondering if somebody can just sneak up there and maybe get their first of the season, you know? That's what I kind of want to see. As much as it'd be great to see the usual suspects in victory lane, why not a guy like Hunter Lapp? He's got a podium this year. Why not him? Why not a guy like Anthony Roselli? Maybe it's Gary Edwards, who has finished everywhere but the top spot. It feels like this year for that 21 car. And same goes for Cody Higbee, who's had a second, had a couple thirds, had some fourths, has a couple fifths, but no wins for the 97. I feel as though tonight somebody's zero in the win column changes.
I would love to see it just as much as anybody else. I'd love to see someone really turn things on their head as we come to the end of the championship. Hunter Lap is the guy to lead us to the green to try it, and the green flag is out, and 75 laps are headed to us, and Cole Henschel and Hunter Lap made contact right off the bat in turn number 1, and big sideways out of Perego there as we've got 2 4 cars and Hunter Lap in the 60 trying to get to it in turn number 3.
Look at Perego coming away with the top spot, potentially down the straightaway here and into 1. I think Henschel's going to lead that opening lap, but the battle of the 4 cars is on at the front. Henschel up high, Perego down low. We haven't seen too many guys using the outside line to their advantage thus far in the day, but now that the nighttime is here, it might be the right time for the outside to be the lane.
As they come back through again, Perego trying to put Henschel behind him. Came up the racetrack. They're still side by side. The racing's a little bit tight right now, and man, is it bumpy. We're going to jump in to the onboard. Let's pick Dominic Roselli and go on board with the Van Sickle Electric number 80 car. And you can hear it in the throttle. You can see it on your screen, Jonathan. You can see how bumpy this racetrack is already.
Yeah, this place is rough, and it's only going to get rougher throughout the 75 laps as they continue to pace this field. You can see Roselli trying to get back to the bottom. Can't quite get the drive off on the high side. DeRitter hangs on to the spot. Now DeRitter, once again, trying to move forward in this one. Isaac Salas there as well. And I don't know, Joe. I'm really impressed with how the top side of the racetrack has come in, and I just don't know if we're going to see that change at all. I mean, 75 laps is a lot of time to burn this place off, but right now, the top is where you want to be.
I think so, but that diamond line is really helping Cole Henschel. Although, I was just watching, as I watched Perego, we got a yellow flag out on the racetrack here. Something goes wrong at the tail of the field, and it is going to be the 883 of Bud Molyneux bringing this one to us. I'm wondering if the top line is almost hurting some of these drivers because it's a little bit bumpier. We'll have to wait and see when we come back to green, but let's check a replay here, see what happened to the 883 car, and see if we can figure out what goes on with Mr. Molyneux here. Oh, so it's, I thought maybe, but nope, Matthew Schultz is not the cause of the incident. He just got out of whack. Molyneux goes over Dylan Smith. And then...
Bit of a monster truck show on the backstretch.
Yeah, let's get a better camera angle of this, too, here. I think he's going to get... I don't even know what's going to happen here. Let's see what happens. Who knows?
Maybe Smith is
going
to clear himself up.
No.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, no. Is that the thing that we were talking about beforehand? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe.
That is what it is. We were talking about this before the race because a year ago we came to Oswego in iRacing and there was a known bug in the game about people hitting the wall on the outside of 3 and 4 and like falling out of the racetrack. And that is what just happened to Bud Molyneux. So the answer, Matt DeRitter, to your question is yes, you can still fall out of the racetrack.
Yes, you do not want to be up near the wall and potentially in the wall around that gated area. It will seemingly launch you into space.
Mm-hmm. You know, some broadcasters come out on iRacing, like I see actual iRacing broadcasts, whether it's the Pro Series or other broadcasting groups, and they'll take it very seriously, and I mean, just straight up. It's a video game, and it's got bugs in it, so it's unfortunately something that all these drivers are going to have to kind of watch out for tonight, but just tough. And it's a shame for Bud Molyneux, too, because that I had seen him in one of our overhead cameras in the first couple laps doing exactly the same thing, and unfortunately this time he's just going to end up like falling out of the racetrack, literally.
Yep, you just can't push it quite as much as he probably would have wanted to get away with, that's for sure. And I guess that's going to be a storyline to watch for the rest of this race is, does anybody else get caught testing the outside a little too far up the racetrack. I really am surprised to see, wow, Cole Henschel with a great launch, but I was surprised how high up the racetrack he got on this initial start. I thought he would have maybe wanted to keep Anthony Perego pinned down a little bit coming back to the green, but obviously we're running the high side work for him pretty well. Look at them bouncing, and look at them bouncing off each other. Gary Edwards and Isaac Salas making contact. Dominic Roselli's around. Multiple cars possibly involved in that one.
And Dominic Roselli, we saw him slide across the front of the screen there. He was the beginning of the incident, but we'll see who else maybe got involved in this. So we'll pull the replay here, and we'll see what we've got. Maybe get a little bit more specific view of the number 80 Van Sickle electric car. He's going to collect Kenny Coe in this as well, but Coe's a few spots back, so we'll have to see what other drivers might be involved. Jonathan, is look at, there's Salas and Edwards making the contact you mentioned before there.
Mm-hmm. I almost wonder if this is like, you can see Roselli's right behind both of them are. And looks like maybe Roselli was trying to give a little bit of space, and Smith didn't know. It's kind of what I'm thinking, and just know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
For Kenny Coe, he'll pile into the already spinning 80 car of Dominic Roselli in the Van Sickle ride. So I don't know, Joe. It just kind of feels like chain reaction stuff. You know, that's kind of been the story of most of the cautions we've seen throughout the season, is that drivers, you know, can't see through other race cars. It's pretty tricky to know when a guy is slowing down when you don't have taillights or anything like that to indicate something like that. And most of the incidents that we've seen have not been malicious, not been careless driving or reckless driving. It's mostly just been, hey, didn't realize you were woeing up because they were spinning in front of you or maybe about to wreck. So, kind of just a weird situation.
Yep, that is what it was. And you're right, that is kind of the perpetual thing we see with these races, is that kind of an incident. Dylan Smith has been moved to the tail of the field as he stirred the incident, although I think they're almost kind of racing to see who's starting 18th and who's starting 17th here. They go single file for this restart. Up at the front, it's Cole Henschel, and the green flag comes back out at his call, and we're back at it. 8 laps into this race.
And Henschel really trying to put the exclamation point on the season with a win here. And we'll see if anybody has something for him. Kind of keeping an eye on Gary Edwards. He's been steady Eddie, moving forward in this one. I think what started 10th, if I'm not mistaken, Joe, and he was kind of solidly marched up inside the top 5 here now with just a few laps on the board, all things considered. 75 total laps. We're going to be coming up with 65 to go still. And look at these cars bounce. I cannot believe how rough this racetrack is. And it bites Brewer. Brewer gets up into the wall, and that's going to open the door for Edwards to try to make a challenge for 4th.
Gary Edwards III tries to move down to the inside on Brewer, as Salas is in the picture now as well. You got a 3-car battle for 4th place. Bounce it down the back straightaway. Gary Edwards going to try to send it in here. Will he leave Mike Brewer the room? He has to. Isaac Salas still lurking behind him, and he's just not quite getting there. Yellow flag comes back out again. This time, I think it's the 14 of Austin Smith bringing it to us, Jonathan.
Yeah, we'll see what Smith got into here. This had to be further towards the back. I believe Smith was running maybe outside the top 10, maybe around 15th, if I remember correctly when I saw it last. And he looks like he's kind of already sideways going into it. Look at the car bounce, man.
I really hope this isn't what happened to Bud Molyneux happening again.
Yep.
Well, it's not the same thing, because he
stayed in the ballpark-ish. No, not really.
Bud Molyneux's issue was a legitimate glitch, and I think Austin Smith's was an actual crash. But more or less the same thing happened to Austin Smith that happened to Bud Molyneux, and that's what brought out the yellow. And that's a tough break for Austin Smith, because just like Bud Molyneux, he is only just now getting that car retrieved to get back out onto the racetrack. So he will rejoin the field, but from the tail, and hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I feel like most of the drivers are going to be trying to avoid that up upstairs line coming out of that corner. We'll see if that becomes more of an issue as they continue to race and run here. But yeah, tough break for Smith. Again, you kind of just had to lift, and maybe two cars trying to go for the same real estate. That's the one thing I will say about this series that we've seen all season long, Joe, is that we've just really have to have some appreciation for the fact that, well, there are some issues that happen with rough driving and some issues that might be, maybe better judgment could have been used. For the most part, everybody's run as clean as they possibly can. And as we get back to green, I got to say, I just want to take a second to shout out our field, to shout out our drivers for always trying their best to put on a good show. And for the most part, that's what we've had happen. And we get a long stretch of green flag racing. Who knows what could happen in this one? It still feels wide open, even with a guy like Henschel leading the way.
Yeah, we definitely have a good slew of drivers in the middle here, like 2nd through 5th. Now 6th and 7th even are coming into this picture. You got a lot of really strong drivers all stuck right up on each other right here. Cole Henschel may lead, but Perego, Brewer, Higbee, Salas. Oh, Brewer just took the wall out. And Dylan Smith gets a piece. And the yellow is going to come back out.
Yeah, we saw him do that, maybe just 3-4 laps ago, and gets up there, tests it again, and it jumps out and bites him, and that's a tough break for Brewer. Doesn't look like the car's too beat up about it, thankfully, but yeah, you got to watch that outside wall when they're running as high as they are around this racetrack and as bouncy as they are. Look at them. At one point, it seems like there's only one wheel, maybe two, touching the ground at any given point as they're going down this front stretch and back stretch. This time, just all alone, Brewer gets into that wall, rides it along the case signage there, and Anthony Roselli gets a little piece of it. We'll see if Roselli gets the wall. He does, ever so slightly.
Yep, Richie.
Nowhere to go for Smith.
Yep, Richie got a piece of it. Looks like Kenny Coe did not, but Anthony Roselli, probably got a little chunk there, and Brewer's definitely going to have to take that car in to get that thing repaired. Now, you do get a single fast repair that you can use during these races, and I'm assuming that Brewer's going to have used it here. Comes back out on the racetrack, just like Dylan Smith in front of him. And there's your two brothers on screen. Mom, get the camera. They are right beside each other. They will get Austin Smith scored as a lap down for the time being here. I would think they should give him a wave around to get that lap back, since technically he fell out of the racetrack. Kind of an unrealistic reason to be a lap down compared to real racing. And you've still got the 4 car of Cole Henschel, and then the scored as 44 driving car number 4, Anthony Perego, behind him up at the front of the grid. Single file again for the restart, and we've fallen into that train of cautions breed cautions here, Jonathan. See if we can get that squared away and get a little green flag run in.
Yeah, we'll see what the single file restart brings for us here. I almost wonder if that's going to present more of a passing opportunity, because there's just less guys stacked up on top of each other. And it looks like Edwards is going to try to immediately get to the bottom. Anthony Perego is trying to make the low side of the racetrack work as well. And you can see Isaac Salas down there as well, trying to make a move on Cody Higbee. Still looks like the bottom side just doesn't quite have enough, Joe, to make the pass. He's still got to either diamond it or get up to the high side and wrap it around if you can.
Looks like the way to go is, definitely to stay up on the top side. The bottom, although you've got Hunter Lapp and Anthony Roselli starting to try, we got cars crashing big time in the back. I see Jake Henry and Dylan Smith. The green flag is still out, and there it is. Yellow flag comes out.
There it is.
Yep. I was waiting for it. That definitely needed a yellow. Dylan Smith, Jake Henry, and Jake Henry's busted the front end out of that car. He's going to try to go into the pits here and get this repaired. Unfortunately for him, struggling to get in there, but we'll cut away from it and pull the replay out. In the meantime, let him figure out what's going on, as this is going to be all him, unfortunately, Jonathan. He's going to come through these corners, and then next set of turns we go through, you will see the 171 car get a little bit too high up into the turn 3 wall, and then it will grip him in, and then he's going to get sucked in. He's going to slow down a bunch, and then Dylan Smith in the 15S is just going to come in, not really anticipate what he can do, and clobber the back of the 171 car. So here's where Here's where Jake goes up into the wall. Big hit.
Bang,
Actually,
right there.
big hit. And then Dylan Smith, nowhere to go.
Yep.
Oof. And
Nowhere
Mike
to go for
Brewer.
Brewer either.
Oof.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, it kind of felt like when you watched on the entry there, it was like the wheels were turned, but the 171 was just carrying way too much speed, or I just couldn't get the rear end to actually rotate where he needed it to kind of rip the outside line there. So tough break for the 171. Tough break for Brewer at the back. We saw him have a good heat race and start towards the front of the field, and it just hasn't played out the way of the 39 tonight. Same for Kenny Coe, another driver who started up towards the front and has not been able to get the night that he wants. I've been keeping an eye kind of on some of our points battles. Something to factor in, no Dean Reynolds tonight, so the 79 is going to drop probably, well, most likely out of the top 10 based on some of the drivers around him. But Matt Schultz, 1 point back of Dylan Smith going into the night. Dylan Smith's obviously had his fair share of bad luck, so maybe those couple spots are going to change hands, and maybe it's Smith that has trouble staying inside the top 10. Bo Kerbo been sort of quiet, and I feel like he'll be okay, actually, although I haven't seen, is Bo in this chat?
No, actually, Bo Kerbo
qualifying, but he missed, right?
Yes, he is not here tonight. So Bo has not missed a race yet this season, so that means the 5K car will take the points from his worst race up to this point and move those into like the hold column, because his lowest points night will be tonight. So there's still some points on the table for Bo that are not calculated in the points top 10 that we showed at the beginning of this stream. So we'll just have to factor all that together. But we'll see what happens.
You got some math to do at the end of this checkered flag here.
Yeah, that's what it is, though. We'll see what that math looks like when we get through another about 55 laps here. We're getting close to lap 20. The single file restart, this time it looked like it actually helped us get a couple laps of green flag racing in, as the field's pretty much single filed out, just trying to get a couple laps ticked off. The only really close group that you could say were arguably a battle is Roselli and Hunter Lapp here on the screen.
Yeah, right now you got to figure these drivers are going to try to just log some laps for a little while. It's such a long distance. 75 laps is a long way to go for this series, this season. So we'll see. I anticipate probably a little bit of a calm before the storm kind of driving mentality for the next maybe 20 or so laps. Maybe will you wait till you get to lap 50, and then you really got to start dropping the hammer and getting towards the front if you're not already there. And you don't want to lose touch with the leaders if you're, sitting around the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th spot. Good battle here shaping up to Ritter. Ooh, Lapp, I think, just got the outside wall. That's going to drop him back out of that battle with Roselli. And now that's going to allow a few more cars to make their move. Slide jobs, not going to work. Got to hold it down there. Vitali with a good... I thought this... Oh, no! I feel like I'm like live creating an announcer jinx, Joe. That was sketchy racing for the last lap and a half, but everybody's still clean and green.
It does not make it any better that the straightaways here are basically supercross straightaways with bumps the whole way down them. But yeah, Hunter Lapp got up into the wall a little bit there. He's trying to hustle, keep Anthony Vitali behind him. Big slider out of the 1X car that time.
There it is.
Yep, the crossover though, and Hunter Lapp will get that position back, but that was a really cool, clean slider too. Very well done for Vitali. And he's going to try to muscle off of the middle line of the racetrack and stay in touch with the 60 car. Nice battle going on.
Yeah, Lapp's going to get that spot back. Here comes DeRitter with some pressure to the back of Vitali. I think it looks like that bottom side is really working for DeRitter. That seems to be where he is finding pace right now. You can see him right down against the inside wall as we go on board with the 0-3 ride for Matt DeRitter in that MDR graphics machine.
He's holding the
It
bottom.
kind of looks like, yeah, it looks like of all guys I've seen down there, kind of seems like he has the best speed. Oh, they kind of stacked up in front of him. That caused him to make a bit of a move into the wall there. But I feel like DeRitter, of all the drivers, I don't know what he's feeling or what he's seeing, but he's making this bottom side work and hasn't quite been able to put the pass on, Joe, but I got to give a shout out. I'm pretty impressed with what the bottom side's offering, especially for DeRitter.
Yeah, well, you just got to keep that left rear down there where there's some tacky stuff. Matthew Schultz might, just as we were commending Matt DeRitter for running the bottom side, Matthew Schultz might muscle around the outside and take away the position in car number 24. So that moves Matthew Schultz into 9th as Matt DeRitter is working so hard to stay down low and be technical about staying on the bottom side that Matthew Schultz used some momentum to just go around him. Although down the front stretch that time, he hit the wall, and he hits the wall again in the middle of 1 and 2, and that will put the 03 car back in front of him. Then you look a couple people back, you got Jeff Sharp aside of Brendan Finley, and Finley's doing the same thing DeRitter was trying to do, run the bottom. But now the 24 and the 03 have switched spots.
They are swapping around, trying to figure out where is the line, where do you want to be, where do you want to run. That Schultz dives back to the bottom side. Now we see DeRitter going up the stairs. Vitale trying to find a way around Hunter Lap, and Jeff Sharp lurking there in the 28. Good little battle at the back half of the top 10. And it's getting almost 3 wide there at points as DeRitter's gone back to the bottom, trying to make a move on Vitale. Can't make it stick down low. Joe, I don't even know. I don't know where you want to be right now. It doesn't feel like there's any kind of dominant line.
Honestly, the racetrack is good or bad, whatever you want to call it, all over. I think you at this point, you just go where you're comfortable. It seems like it doesn't really matter. It's just where you feel the best, and maybe trying to avoid something like that. As Matt DeRitter behind Anthony Vitale got up into the wall. It slowed him down a big time, and Matt DeRitter just about lost 3 spots out of it, and Matt DeRitter gets the elbows out, slams the side of the 24 car, and look out for Matthew Schultz. He is all out of whack, and he's got to bring it woed down and get back under control here. Matt Schultz just lost 6 positions off that.
Oh, that's a tough break for a guy who is trying to have a good, solid night to round out the points in a big way, and that is definitely going to hurt Matt Schultz's program here tonight. And yeah, DeRitter was just following Vitale a little too close. He got up into the wall in front of him. That jams up the 03. That's basically great driving and some good fortune that issue was not bigger in any sort of way. It has given Finley a great spot here inside the top 10 and 8th right now. See if he can maybe track down Hunter Lap and make the move. As Lap owes, we got a caution on the racetrack.
Caution flag is out, yes, and Brendan Finley was the big winner there, but Jake Henry now involved in an accident with Matthew Schultz, and the 24 car is going to have to come try to get service. Austin Smith in the pit lane as well. He's just been coming in and out to try to get repairs as we go, but we'll catch the replay, see what happens between these two, and that's a tough break that might be the end of it for Jake Henry. Oh, actually, you know what? Jake Henry isn't even the start of this madness. The start of it comes from the 24 car. Gonna find him. There he is. Okay, let's see what happens with Matthew Schultz.
Ooh, run down the hill and just ran it right into the wall. Big hit to the outside. Wow.
Must have lost the steering there,
Jonathan. A lot of damage.
Yeah, must have lost the steering.
Yeah.
Now, Jake... Oh, no!
Oh, he let the brake go.
He let the brake go. Yep. That's...
Oh.
I feel so bad for Jake Henry because that's just at that point in time, you're already stopped on the racetrack. The best thing you could do is just sit still. And unfortunately for Jake Henry, that is not what Matthew Schultz did. And that's why the 171 car comes back into the pit lane for what very likely could be the last time. I wouldn't be super surprised because there was a lot of damage off that one, Jonathan. Oh, no, he's back out on the racetrack.
A lot of damage to Schultz. Yep. He's able to continue on.
Most likely, though...
Great for Schultz, too.
Yeah, but most likely, though, Schultz just used his fast repair. So even though he's not up at the front, he has a fully, all-good race car. So you just got to stay out of trouble as we continue forward and try not to do that again. Hope for the best. Anthony Roselli's sitting on the pit lane. Cole Henschel brings us back to green. We haven't checked in on the leaders in a while as we come back to it. And we close in, actually, 2 laps away from surpassing halfway here, Jonathan.
Yeah, and I mean, the class of the field is at the front right now. Henschel, Higbee, Salas, and Edwards III all right up there in the top 4, battling it out here. And Higbee's got to run on the bottom side. It looks like he might gain a little bit on Henschel. We'll see if he can use that line to his advantage. Henschel's been up on the high side of the racetrack, but he has not found himself in danger at any point, really. He's just riding, I guess, just high enough that he's getting the speed he needs, but not risking that race car and risking making any contact with the wall.
Yeah, and that's probably the smartest thing to do right now. You don't need to make the pass for the win at this exact moment in time, although Gary Edwards really did find something there in turn 1 on the inside that time through, so maybe giving a hint to the rest of these guys that it's time to start trying some other stuff, at least for Higbee and Salas. I would not say Cole Henschel has any worry of needing to move somewhere else. He has just been commanding this race from the top line the entire way through so far. And while Salas and Edwards try to play with things a little bit here, try to figure out a way around the 97 car, Cole Henschel, all he's got to do is just keep running that same consistent line that he has been. As he crosses the halfway point, he will be your halfway leader, and he will get the most laps led in this feature. Isaac Salas following him on the top side. Gary Edwards, Cody Higbee, they are in the picture as well. Brendan Finley has moved up into the top 5, moving closer and closer, doing a great job with the J7 car. And Kenny Coe found that extra gear that we were looking for, Jonathan. He started so close to the front, fell back to the rear, and now he's in 6th place.
Yep, Coe making a good comeback here in that 22 car. Vitali's still being a thorn in the side. He's trying to find his way up towards a maybe top 5 here tonight. And how about Jeff Sharp in the 28? Great run for the 28 car here tonight. And Richard Ritchie up inside the top 10 as well.
Yeah, Richard Ritchie in the 55 car. He's got himself into 9th place at the current moment. Jeff Sharp 8th there as well. Those 2 drivers kind of waited out some of that madness that's happened so far. You can see Hunter Lapp, Matt DeRitter, Dylan Smith behind him. A bunch of guys who have been fast. Mike Brewer, Anthony Perego back there as well. Something must have happened to Perego that I'm assuming connection into the session where we put the 44 car scored 14th out of all of these guys. So that's going to give a couple gifts to guys like Jeff Sharp, Anthony Vitale, and Richard Ritchie. But Jonathan, I am sure they'll take it, especially, we got a lot of time left in this race for them to find something else, maybe find an extra gear and get a couple more spots.
Yeah, lots of time, lots of things that could potentially happen, lots of things that are probably going to happen in this thing still as we work inside the final half of the event here from Oswego. Good battle there, Sharp. And don't look now. Here comes Isaac Salas. He's moving his way up into this battle, and he's going to get around Higbee and maybe make a pass here for the lead. Can't quite make it stick. Not able to wash up in front of Henschel, but Salas is there, and look at this. For the first time tonight, Cole Henschel's got his hands full.
Henschel hit the wall there in 3 and 4. Salas, maybe this is the moment, Jonathan, where we start saying the bottom's the way to go. Isaac Salas right behind Henschel. Nah, you know what? I don't think so, because he's holding up strong on the outside behind Henschel, and when he looked to the inside, he just couldn't do it. So I think the top side's still the place to be, but I think Cole Henschel, I don't know if he used up the car more, or if Salas has found something in the track that he likes, because that 5 car really is in good position to do a little bit of a slider. He could have cleared. He could have cleared, but he didn't go up. Isaac Salas did not move the slider on Henschel, and that's why Henschel's getting to hold beside him as now they come back to the front stretch. And this is where the momentum kind of dies off for the 5 car when he tries to do that inside line. So, yeah, Jonathan, the top side's definitely the place to be. Salas just has to find a way to kind of back the turn up and then get the run off of the end of it to go around the 4 car.
Henschel's really struggling in 1 and 2, Joe. You can see the car backs up to the competition through that corner. Henschel does a pretty nice job through 3 and 4 here to get the power down. But again, you can see Salas right in the tire tracks is able to dive in there. I think at some point he's going to throw that slider. He just has to have enough confidence that he's driven in deep enough to make the clearing pass. The other thing that I wonder if maybe Salas can do is fall back in the tire tracks and then maybe on corner exit, that's where you dive to the inside. If you can maybe pull down the racetrack, get a little bit of run down the hill, maybe you can get to the inside of him. Although now he's going to have his hands full as here comes Cody Higbee. He's making the bottom side of the racetrack work, and he's closing in on these top 2, trying to take the fight to them. And maybe, just maybe, it's Cody Higbee who's going to be able to pass them both.
I wonder if Henschel used up his car. I wonder if that's what it is. The yellow flag comes out. That pass will not count. And it's unfortunately one of the guys who's had a great run so far this evening, Brendan Finley in the J7 backwards in turns 3 and 4, that we will have to check in a replay and see what happened to this car. That was a great race for the lead. Unfortunately, is going to come to a halt here as the J7 went around, and it looks like all on his own, Jonathan.
Yeah, we'll see here through. Corner is just going to get up there way too high. Yep. Overcooks it a little bit and just can't quite pull it off. Is that where you fall off the racetrack? No, I think he's able to spin and avoid that, but not able to avoid the inside wall, and that's such a tough break for Finley, who was having a great night here. Came into the night 12th in points, 21 back of Matt Schultz, was probably going to be in a pretty good position to eat into that advantage, maybe get himself up inside the top 10 in points, but this will definitely be a bit of a reset here, both figuratively and potentially literally, for that race car with 25 to go.
Yeah, that's tough. 2/3 of the way into this race, and all of a sudden you're back to the tail of the field. Brendan Finley in the J7 car sitting on the pit lane. Now he's going to come back out onto the racetrack after getting some repairs done. Richard Ritchie also on the pit road here. So the 55 car has some damage that he had to bring it in as well. Unfortunately, he's going to drop back to the tail. We've lost, looks like we've lost Bud Molyneux a long time ago. Anthony Roselli dropped out at some point there. Matthew Schultz with the big incident is off the racetrack. Mike Brewer is gone, and Austin Smith is still working on getting some long-term repairs done on this 14 car from his earlier incident. So we currently have 14 drivers still left on the racetrack. When Richie comes back out, I assume it looked to me like Richie will be able to get back out onto the racetrack for the restart. So we will see Austin Smith come back out, and we should see 16 of them out there for this restart coming soon, with Henschel and now Salas beside him. As Salas has been mighty strong on the top side, this might be a good opportunity for Isaac to do something.
Kind of surprised here, Joe, that Cole would give up the top side of the racetrack here. He must have a lot of confidence that he can fire off from the bottom side and get to the lead. As we go back to green, he turns him loose, and it is a good start and a good run down the hill. Salas does not get going on the high side to the same extent. Cody Higbee down low, though, trying to make something happen in that 97 machine. Maybe a little too low. I think he caught the inside wall there just ever so slightly. Now Edwards is starting to bounce around. I saw one car maybe have a connection issue there. I think everybody's going to make it through clean and green. Yes, they do. It was Kenny Coe that dropped off for a split second there, but he's still in this. And look at the slider from Salas.
He's just not going the whole way up. He's just not confident that he's making it, that he's clearing Cole Henschel. He could have in 1 and 2. I don't think that time. But yeah, Cody Higbee really threw a wrench in that off the start, being down low and in the position he was in, but he just clipped the wall in turn 2 and lost all of his momentum. He's got to get that wound back up, figure out a way to get back up with this 4 and 5 car. Salas, man, he almost hit the wall as he comes through 3 and 4. And I will say, Jonathan, you mentioned earlier that 5 gets through 1 and 2 better than the 4. As there you go. There's the commitment.
There it is.
Yep. And there's the race lead to Isaac Salas. But Cole Henschel going to try to go back underneath him. Will he dish out a return the favor slider? He does. And a crossover from the 5 car. Now we got a race.
This is good stuff here. Salas drives it in deep. He's going to try to slide up in front of Henschel, keep it off the wall, get the run out of the corner. That time does a better job of staying on the gas, but Henschel gets a great run down the hill. He'll be clear by the time they get into the corners. 3 and 4 this time. Salas gets low again. Can he get back to the lead? Henschel, Salas dueling over this final win on the Southern Tier Elite Series. Easy for me to remember and say, Joe, but this is good stuff.
Salas this time confidently holds it. He runs a defensive line through the middle of 3 and 4, and he led past the line last time, and Isaac Salas will lead this time by as well, as Gary Edwards is in the picture making some contact with Cody Higbee. Kenny Coe getting into the picture with the 21 car there. Isaac Salas has about a car length lead over Cole Henschel, and Cody Higbee, now it's your turn, bud. You're going to go for that 4 car, as Isaac Salas will lead back to the line.
Kenny Coe looking for a podium finish here this season. Has not had one yet in that 22 ride. And looks like Salas is in a pretty good spot right now, but I think maybe Cody Higbee is the driver to watch amongst this front five. He might be the one who's still got something left in the tank. Did Salas burn up his equipment at all? How much race car does he have left if there's a late restart, or if he has to start playing defense after being on the offense for so much of this race? Now, Kenny Coe has gotten by Gary Edwards. Maybe it's the 22 car who's got something left in the tank, who can track down the top three, maybe steal a podium, and maybe steal a win with just 15 to go in this awesome race and awesome season.
Yeah, coming down to the wire here, 15 laps to go. Kenny Coe has not been on the podium yet this season. Cody Higbee, second in the championship, has not been on the podium since Lernerville 4 races ago. So, oh, look out, the leader's in the wall hard, and he's going to lose 2 positions just like that. Isaac Salas falls to third, and all of a sudden, Cody Higbee finds himself in a battle for the lead of the race, and Kenny Coe with a nasty slider to get into third, but it crossed back over for the 5 car.
Oh, another car on the wall back there. I think that was Hunter Lapp. Oh, no! Cody Higbee's turned. I think Cody Higbee got tagged by Isaac Salas there, and that is going to bring out a caution here, Joe. Wow. What a turn of events.
Don't hit Rich Ritchie. Oh, man. Salas just sent it in deep there and didn't. That's just what happened. Just went in deep, and Higbee was there. That's so tough. We're going to get a replay back here, but, I mean, we saw it on the screen, Jonathan, and it's the same thing we talk about all the time. It's that you just get one guy going into the corner a little bit quicker, and the guy in front is a little slow. We'll go on board with Salas to show it off.
Yeah, of course, it's not going to be intentional, right? And Salas is going to drive in here. He's going to get a pretty good run down to the bottom side, and just too much of a good run there as Higbee bogs down kind of in the middle of the corner, and that turns the 97 here. And Gary Edwards just barely gets by, and Higbee will try to lock it down. Man, race cars going by on either side.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Now, he's not stopped, but that's the thing I was talking about earlier with Schultz. It's just be predictable. I would hit the brakes, but just sit still as much as you can. Don't try to move around or get out of people's way. They'll get themselves out of your way. And so Higbee did a good job of avoiding more of an incident out of that, but just a tough break for him. And I think Isaac Salas is actually off the racetrack. So we may have lost the 5 car, or maybe it's just a connection issue. Nope. I don't see him. All of a sudden, Jonathan, Cole Henschel has Kenny Coe to his outside. The 22 car's got a shot at this.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Kenny in search of a podium here this year. Hasn't found one yet, but what about Gary Edwards sneaking in there? Again, we've talked about Gary. He's had such a great season all year long. No victories to his credit yet. The victory in this final feature event, though, is right there for the taking if somebody can find a way back by the 4 car of Cole Henschel.
And back into it again. Gary Edwards, Kenny Coe, Anthony Perego, they go 3 wide for second place there. Cole Henschel gets a nice run off of the top side. He will lead again. These guys hopefully learned a thing or two from the 97 and the 5 car, because both of them out of contention puts all 3 of these guys in a position to maybe try to do something fun with Cole Henschel. If they held onto their race cars that they still have a little bit of grip in the tires, maybe they're in a little bit better shape than Cole Henschel. I think it's fair to say that 4 car may have been a little bit worked off compared to the 97 and the 5. There's still an opportunity for those guys to do something here, Jonathan.
Yeah, I like Kenny Coe where he's at right now, the best of the drivers trying to chase down Henschel. I do say that he's got a handful of Gary Edwards, but for me, if I'm the 22, I am just trying to get right in the tire tracks of Henschel, be exactly where he is, run that same line, and maybe, I don't know if he had a chance to see the way that Isaac Salas was making moves on Henschel with that kind of entering on the top side, and then next corner you can dive to the inside. That's where I would be doing. That's where I would be running, trying to make this pass and get it done here. And it looks like Ko is closing a little bit, or at least keeping Henschel honest.
Yeah, he's trying to keep him honest, but this sort of 4-car train of the front, that is more or less single file. You've got a little bit of a stew going on between DeRitter, Dylan Smith, Anthony Vitale. Jake Henry's all the way up there, and Cody Higbee in 10th place, right there with Brendan Finley in 5th. This little slum is the most exciting portion of the racetrack. We've still got 14 drivers out there on the track. We've lost Salas, Dominic Roselli, Mike Brewer, Matthew Schultz, Anthony Roselli, and Bud Molyneux as we've went. But this battle even is getting a little bit thrown out as Anthony Vitale sends it in deep there. And a little bit of blinking going on from Dylan Smith. That's just a slight connection issue, no problems. And Brendan Finley has got himself back into the top 5, Jonathan. And he's trying everything he can to get back into the picture with the guys up front here and see if he can get a couple more positions out of it. Gary Edwards right there with Kenny Ko. We got to battle back on it.
Yeah, it just seems like Kenny Ko and Gary Edwards are too even for each other, and because they're fighting over that second spot, it feels like both are going to run out of time to maybe track down Henschel. Edwards really wanted to complete the slider there, could not get up in front of Ko. He'll have to tuck back in line and set it up once again here with now 6, coming to 5 laps to go next time by, Joe.
Cole Henschel leads the way by about 0.7 of a second over Kenny Ko, who's been down and back up in this race, now finds himself running in 2nd place. Gary Edwards in 3rd as the yellow flag comes out. I think this is going to be Hunter lap. So we're going to have to slow everybody down and then come back to the green with 4 laps to go. And this is Hunter lap, yes. So the 60 car, single car incident, off the wall in 3 and 4. Must have busted the rear end out of this one because I know he's going to have a little bit more color coming to him once he gets back out on the front stretch here. Let's wait and see what happens. That was him hitting the wall.
Is he going to just spin it on his own?
Yes. Yes, it is. It appears that is what happened. He might have just given up on it because he's hit that wall a ton in the corner. He might have just busted the rear end out of it, Jonathan, and figured it was time to give it up.
Yeah. That or his crew chief was asking him if his arm was itchy.
Well, if his arm was itchy, we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
I don't think they've got the same code words in dirt racing, but the old Clint Boyer arm itch.
Maybe it was for excitement. Who knows? Cole Henschel probably did not want to see that happen. He was in commanding position. But Jonathan, does Kenny Ko feel good about this? Or are we single file? I mean, like, this is a chance for Kenny, but can he actually do it?
I think if I was Gary Edwards and I was lining up 2nd, I think I'd have a lot of confidence. Kenny, I think, is going to have to be on this, man. I don't know if we've seen enough from that 22 car where Kenny would be fully confident that he's got something for the 4. But when you're this close, you got to take advantage. You got to have a chance. You got to give yourself a chance. And honestly, a pretty good start there. He hangs pretty good with Cole Henschel. Henschel does get away by maybe a car length or 2 as they head into 1, but Ko is there and not going away. Edwards and Perego lurking there as well. Look at Finley making some moves down low as well. But Henschel safe for now, coming to 3 to go.
Henschel off top side of turn 4. The group of them are all on the top side. Henschel, Ko, Gary Edwards the 3rd with a huge send-in from turn 1. Kenny Ko to the back to the outside. He's going to try to muscle around the outside again. Gary Edwards will send in a big slider for the 2nd time. He's almost side by side with Cole Henschel as he slots in between them. Kenny Ko's going to have to try to cross him back over. 2 laps to go at the line. Cole Henschel puts a couple car lengths between them. Kenny Ko sends it in really deep that time to get himself back in front of the 21 car. And that might hold as Edwards tried to cross to the bottom side. Didn't quite work. Yellow flag is out on the racetrack. All of this is going to stop again. and it is Anthony Vitale who brings it this time.
Wow. Wow. You know, I thought just when you think it's over, Joe, it never is.
And this is going to be probably more for the doings, kind of point the finger at Anthony Vitale here. But, yeah, this is going to reset everybody in a really tough position to come to the end of this race. This is going to be a turn 1 incident here, so we'll watch the 1X car. As he goes down the front straightaway, he's got Dylan Smith to his outside, and they're going to meet in the middle here, aren't they? Yep. Both of them just trying to go for the bottom line, and just a tag and a slide. Jake Henry, oh, does he get in there? Yeah. Darn. Tough for Jake Henry there.
Yeah, the 171, bit of a racing wounded for sure. That vehicle's been in with a few. Whoa. Big hit Austin Smith to the back of Vitale there as well.
Man, that sucks for Austin Smith. Anthony Vitale, I think he's kept his nose clean the whole way through this race, so he should have had a fast repair to use, but Austin Smith might be crab. Yeah, that rear end's busted out of that car, so he's just going to try to just ease it around for these final 2 laps to get to the finish of this race. You can see how messed up the rear end is. You can see it's pointed the wrong direction. He's just going to try to ride this out.
Trying to limp it home.
Yeah, going to limp it home.
Yeah, just a couple laps left. You may be able to get around, right?
Yeah. Well, here you go, Jonathan. You have a few less laps to do it, but you said on the last restart that if Gary Edwards was in second, you'd feel a different way. So Gary Edwards is in second. So how do you feel now?
I feel like if I'm Gary Edwards, I am sending it with a capital S if I get the opportunity. I mean, maybe a little too eager there. Getting to the inside. That's going to jam him up. I think that's actually going to play into Henschel's favor there. As here comes Perego sailing it in. Edwards is going to have to get on his horse here on the final lap. Can Edwards make it happen? I don't think so. Perego's going to throw the slider for second. Can't do it. And the win and the championship to Cole Henschel. He will get it done ahead of Gary Edwards. Are they on the white flag lap?
No, they're done.
Am I confused?
Yeah. No, they're done.
Yeah, they're done. Okay.
Yep.
They're just racing a little extra here on the final lap, it feels like.
Yep. I think everybody's a little goofed up because we were maybe anticipating a green-white checkered situation, but that is not what happened.
Yes.
Yeah. So, no. So Cole Henschel.
Shootout.
Yeah, it was a 1-lap shootout. Not sure if Anthony Roselli was anticipating it to be green-white checkered as kind of race controlling this, but oh well. That's how you end out a season. If you're Cole Henschel and you're winning the title, what better way to show it off and prove your stuff than to take the victory? And a little bit of a love tap there from Anthony Perego as he will try to get lined up there. The group of them, oh man, they're doing the best they can. Hey, you know what? Who cares? Just
congratulatory. It's all congratulatory.
Have the fun with it, yeah. So we'll give them just a little time here to get the drivers out of the cars as Cole Henschel took the win, Gary Edwards second, Anthony Perego third. We will talk to the 3 of them as they come up. And I think we probably should start with Perego if we get a chance because we can wrap up with the champion. But Jonathan, the only guy with his helmet off so far is the second-place driver. I don't know if we give Anthony and Cole an extra second here.
Yeah, we'll get everybody in here. I mean, it's kind of nice for us announcers when we know everything's so sorted at the top. Cole Henschel, a winner of the race, winner of the championship. We can congratulate him on both. And, I will say as well, something I can appreciate with this finish here is that Cole Henschel is now going to tie. He'll equal Isaac Salas's mark in terms of in terms of race wins for the year. And that makes you feel even better about the championship. When the guy who's won the most races also wins the points title, it feels right.
Absolutely, I agree with that. So, looks like the trio of our podium finishers are ready. Jonathan, Do you want to start with Perego and go to the top?
Yeah, why not? Let's start with our third place finisher, Anthony Prego. Let's get him in there. Anthony has joined us up in the booth. You got a copy? It's Jonathan down here.
Yeah, we got you.
Congratulations on a great effort. Podium finish to finish the season after starting the season with a win. Talk to us about racing here at Oswego. From our vantage point, it looked like an awfully rough version of Oswego. Definitely the cars were bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, I think they scanned this track from that year that it was a minefield. The back straightaway, we were bouncing around pretty good, but yeah, I just trying to chase down Cole there and got the wall and had a pit and got in the back there and banged up the car under a caution, but come back to the podium was a decent night.
Did you feel like if you didn't catch that wall there, you might have had something for Cole? You might have been able to get to him a little bit earlier and maybe make that pass and stay in for the top spot.
Yeah, I think I just had to wait on the track, made some good moves through the field there. Bottom was working really well, and then it kind of went away, and everyone migrated back to the outside. But, what a race between them guys there for a while. I think the top four, they were all under a blanket. So, cool way to end the season. It was a fun thing to do during the winter. Ready to do some real racing this week.
Yeah, it's coming up for you in a big way. Good luck down in Florida. Have a great start to the season and a great campaign in general on the Super Dirt Car Series. Thanks for doing this with us. It was awesome having you race with us, Anthony. Who do you want to shout out? Who do you want to thank for a great season and a final podium finish?
Yeah, got to thank Larry, hooking it up all year. It's been fun, like I said, and you guys did a good job with the stream, and Anthony Roselli for putting this on. So hopefully they do something again next season. It was definitely something to do Sunday nights.
There he is. Anthony Perego finishes third in this one. We'll see where he ends up in the championship after all the math has been tabulated. Second place driver tonight, Gary Edwards, I believe, will also be second in the championship when it's all said and done, but I'll let Joe finish all the math on that first before we officially crown him second. But Gary Edwards, great effort here tonight to finish on the podium. Just a little bit short of getting that first victory of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I think I had more seconds than anything, but starting 10th there, I knew I had a lot of time. It was definitely tough running that top, but it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah, great effort. And you mentioned running the top side of the racetrack. Were you surprised at how dominant the top stayed for the majority of the event? Kind of felt like it was only in the last 25 laps or so you guys could really start throwing sliders and working the bottom side.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the top was going to be there early on, probably about halfway. I was running the bottom, and Isaac was running the top, and I was keeping up with him pretty good, but yeah, it seemed like the top was a place to be besides slider lines there at the end, which, Perego threw a heavy one on me the last lap, and it scared me a little bit, but we were able to hold on. It was fun racing the whole season. Good job to Cole on a championship, and just wish I could have got a win, but I'll take it.
Yeah, close but no cigar, but still a great showing from the 21 folks all year long. Gary, who do you have to thank for the season? Who do you want to shout out in your final trip to a podium here?
I got to thank Anthony and everyone putting this on, allowing us to race every week. It was fun, and hopefully we can have another series like this next winter when we're all bored sitting at home. And yeah, gotta thank my girlfriend for letting me get on every Sunday night, and yeah, thanks to you guys for broadcasting it, and that's all I got.
Cheers. There he is. Gary Edwards comes home second once again here tonight, and I believe will be second in the championship to our winner tonight, Cole Henschel, who we will be getting in the booth here in just a moment. Cole Henschel, the winner of the race, the winner of the championship. Cole, talk to us about the great night you had capping things off.
Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was not the best car out there. I think I had a little bit of luck on my side and I stayed patient. I wasn't able to run as hard as those guys, but I was able to stay there and stay up there till the end. I think just the track position really helped me, but yeah, it's exciting. It was a good fun, I think 10 weeks it was.
Hmm. Yeah, it's been a blast. And you mentioned, kind of not always having the best car tonight. It felt like Salas might have had something for you there. Higby, they end up tangling and dropping themselves out of contention. But had Salas cleared you there, do you think you had anything left in the tank to go and run him back down, or was it maybe a feeling like your car was going away on you and used up a bit?
No, the thing was Isaac was driving really hard and he was waiting to turn into the turns a little bit later and I was willing to. I just kind of really wanted to win the championship, so I thought to myself, we'll just drive a little smarter, we'll drive a little easier, and nah, I wouldn't have had anything for Isaac or Cody really. Those guys were on rails.
Well, a great job there to get home a championship effort, a win here. Actually equals you for most wins on the season with Isaac Salas. So you guys had a pretty dominant season between the two of you. Who do you got to thank for a championship effort here, Cole?
Yeah, well, first off, thank you to you guys. You guys have done an awesome job with the broadcast, and thanks to Anthony and Cody and Dom, and I think Brendan Finley, all those guys that put this on. My family for letting me hoot and holler upstairs, and my girlfriend for letting me cut into TV time at night. So, yeah, just thank you to everyone that's supported me and allowed me to have fun and get ready for the race season.
Absolutely, race season right around the corner, and may as well start it being a champion driver in the virtual world. There he is, Cole Henschel, your champion, your race winner here tonight, wrapping up the season here in the Southern Tier Elite Series. Let's look at the unofficial race results here. Cole Henschel wins it ahead of Gary Edwards the third. Anthony Perego brings it home third. We heard from those three. Kenny Coe with a great effort. He'll settle for fourth. Brendan Finley rebounding. We saw him up in the top five, saw him get himself in trouble and then fight back up there. And how about our boy Matt DeRitter with a sixth place finish? And even Dylan Smith with a great recovery. We saw him in more than a few incidents. He ends up with a seventh place finish, top 10 for him. Cody Higby fights back to eighth. Jeff Sharp will settle for ninth. And Jake Henry survives a lot of chaos and a lot of carnage for that race car to finish 10th.
And moving
Richard
to...
Ritchie will... Oh, you got it there? Good.
Yeah, we're
Gotcha.
back.
No.
So thank you, Jonathan, for covering the post-race interviews there. I was able to go back and do the final tallies on the championship positions, but you see 11th through 20th on your screen. Richard Ritchie in 11th. Anthony Vitale, could have maybe seen him in the top 10 tonight. Had some misfortune come his way. Austin Smith had plenty of misfortune come his way, but he kept trekking it out. Ends up one lap down in 13th. Then you've got Hunter Lapp in the 60 car 14th. He did not come to the checkered flag, nor did anybody behind him. Isaac Salas, Dominic Roselli, Mike Brewer, Matthew Schultz, Anthony Roselli, and Bud Molyneux. So all those drivers will finish out the final race of the year on the trailer before the race even ends. And like we've already called out, there was pretty much no contention and no concern for the championship so long as he had a fairly okay-ish night. And he had a very good night. Cole Henschel is your champion of the 2025-2026 Southern Tier Elite Series. He is the winner of the Cacti Cup with 4 race wins. He missed the very first race of the season, and that was the only race that didn't go his way. And he will win with 519 total points over the course of the 10 races. Gary Edwards ends up in second place in the championship hunt with 478 points. So about a 40-point gap between first and second. But the fortunes of tonight at the end for him, combined with Cody Higby's evening, puts him in second to the number 97 car. Cody Higby will finish third place in the championship hunt with 469 points at the end of it. Isaac Salas ends up fourth place in the championship with Anthony Perego rounding out your top 5. Anthony Roselli ends up 6th place at the end of it with Hunter Lapp in 7th place in the championship standings. 8th place in the championship standings at the end is Dylan Smith in the 15S, so he really rifled back up there to get into position to be in the top 10. Brendan Finley will be 9th place in this championship. And rounding out the top 10 in points is Matthew Schultz. Going back to 15th, you've got Bo Kerbo, Dean Reynolds, Kenny Coe, Jeff Sharp, and Dominic Roselli. So, Jonathan, like we said coming into the night, it was Cole Henschel's to lose, and he didn't really have to worry about doing that. So, all said and done, Jonathan, with Henschel, Edwards, and Higbee in the top 3, Isaac Salas and Anthony Perego in the top 5. I think it's probably fair to say that the championship standings represent the cream of the crop coming through the field throughout this season.
Definitely so. I mean, taking a look at the drivers who finished up in the top half of the points here. I mean, the worst finish for Cole Henschel all season long was a 9th place finish by my calculations here real quick. So, I mean, that is a championship that was well earned. 4 wins. What is that? A total of 7 podiums total. I mean, very impressive stuff from Cole Henschel. The guy was just a model of consistency, and so was Gary Edwards too. One little blemish outside the top 10 finish kind of pretty much crushed his championship hopes, at least of keeping it really close heading into this final week. And the same goes for Cody Higbee, where he had one bad finish that he just can't quite throw out and get rid of. So Cody Higbee comes up a little shy too. Isaac Salas equals our champion in terms of wins on the year with 4 wins. And then Anthony Perego started us off with a win in the very first week. So all in all, Joe, I would say those 5 drivers were the drivers that we talked about the most all season long, and definitely Cole Henschel the most consistent and the winningest of all of them.
Yeah, it's definitely a season of a couple, but definitely a season of some really strong drivers leading the way, and that is reflected in the points totals as Anthony Roselli in 6th place in the championship is 136 points back from Cole Henschel as the champion. So it's a little stratified up at the top, but nonetheless, that is the end of the whole deal. That is the end of the 2025 to 2026 Southern Tier Elite Series. Jonathan, any closing thoughts you have on what we've seen over these 10 races and what it meant to you to be a part of it?
First and foremost, thanks again to Anthony Roselli for putting this thing on and asking us to be a part of it. And I had a blast, Joe, working alongside you is always a lot of fun, and looking forward to maybe the next opportunity that BRP TV gets to do something in the iRacing world landscape once again. For myself, I really enjoyed the racing we got all season long. Was very, very good. I know Anthony had some races he was a little bit frustrated as a race director, as somebody trying to moderate things, but I don't think he's got anything that he needs to be too upset about. I think ultimately these drivers raced with a lot of respect. There was a lot of great racing, some hard-fought battles, and ultimately I think we saw great shows 10 out of 10 weeks.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's been a pleasure to be a part of it, and yeah, I think we really did get some awesome stuff. We didn't have too many races where we saw that like train of yellows, that consistent issues thing that we saw. We kind of saw it tonight a little bit. I know we saw it at Lernerville, but we didn't have too many nights that were problematic. We had some really, really good racing all throughout the year, whether it was running Monster Jam racing here at Oswego, the sort of in and out of Lernerville. We had a good time. I know Weedsport was fun. I loved Port Royal, Lucas Oil, Lanier. Oh, love Lanier with these modifieds, but it's been a good season, and I hope it represents well for all of the partners and sponsors that were a part of it as well. So for the final run-through, we want to thank Cacti Fabrication, HigFab Chassis, Precision Engine Service, Savage House Performance, Vertex Graphics, Murder Graphics, MDR Designs, BRP TV, The Inkvine Company, Creative Turnings, 47 Technology, and the Southern Ontario Dirt Show for being part of the program. And if I may, selfishly, I'll say that I think 2025 as a whole for a lot of people was a tough year. It was something that we were glad to see go. And I know that from the personal experiences of some of the people around me in my life, myself included, I think January kind of we anticipated 2026 to get rolling a little bit differently than we did. We did have a nice 3 foot, it's about 30 centimeters 30 to 50 centimeters of snow, depending where you live, to make things a little goofy here lately and then the cold. But this racing series brought together some really awesome people, whether it's, for me, whether it's being beside Jonathan Howe in the booth with Matt DeRitter here, or if you talk about Anthony Roselli bringing out drivers like Cole Henschel, Anthony Perego, the Vitalis, the Smiths, like the Rosellis themselves. It's been a fantastic blessing to be a part of these 10 races and to broadcast it all to everybody out there. I hope everybody enjoyed the streams and enjoyed having something fun to look forward to as we've trekked through a bit of a cold, harsh winter lately. And just in general, like, this is the type of thing that brings people together. We have the same common interests, the same common passion for motorsports, that we can all be here and just kind of shut out all of the noise of all the other stuff going on in the world that might be causing stirs or whatever. So Jonathan and myself and Matt DeRitter, on behalf of BRP TV, we are so grateful to be a part of the last 10 Sundays of everybody's lives, to bring something fun together for us to all just sit back and enjoy. And it's also our pleasure to represent Anthony Roselli with the Southern Tier Elite Series as well. So at the end of all of that, we hope everybody enjoyed the 10 broadcasts. They are all going to stay live on the BRP TV YouTube channel that you can go back to anytime that you'd like to check out those broadcasts again in the future. And yeah, you just stay subscribed to the channel, see what other content is to come from BRP TV, and hopefully we'll work with Anthony Roselli and see what becomes of Season 2 of the Southern Tier Elite Series. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We got a regular season of actual real-world racing coming to go prepare for. So once again, on behalf of the Southern Tier Elite Series with Anthony Roselli, on behalf of BRP TV with Matt DeRitter, Jonathan Howe, and myself, Joe Donahue, I want to thank you all for being here and wish you a pleasant good night and a happy race season.